Hey, how are you? Oh, welcome back to Red Shoes Diary. As you see, I'm back in the storeroom. Sort of a cool day out. Started out cool, but yeah, it's got a little warmer. I think they're saying there's a chance of maybe some snow by in the morning. I don't think it's going to amount to much, but lots of times when you say that, you wind up with a foot. Oh well, you know how that goes. I hope that last week you got to have a good Thanksgiving. I hope you understand now what fat and sassy means. And I hope you got to check out your streaky pants or your loosen your belt buckle, folks. I tried to put out one earlier this week, and it kept kicking off, and couldn't figure out what was going on. Got a little aggravated. Finally called it quits. I thought, well, I'll figure it out sooner or later. Finally, um, I had to download an app or something for something I need on the phone. Finally, I said, hey, not enough memory. Then it hit me. All these videos I've made with this phone is on there. Pictures galore, things I've taken to remind myself to get, downloads from all over the place, things that really I don't, I need that time, don't need now. So I wound up going through, I don't know how much, I deleted. And then I'd go in, and of course, once you throw it into trash, then you got to delete the trash to get rid of everything. But anyway, we'll see if this don't work now. I was going to tell about how I went to a funeral. Was my brother-in-law, and drove monkey got on his back years ago, and he got away from him for a while, but apparently not all of it. He finally is doing real well and got back into it. Apparently got in too much, so good Lord called him home. And it's funny because preacher man, he did not. I respect him highly. He when he got up there and went to doing his service, he said, you know why we're all here. Period. He said, you know what caused this? It's drugs, plain and simple, folks. Something he got hold of, got on him. Old demon got on him years ago, and he couldn't shake it. And he spoke about that, and I truly respect that man for that, because he didn't try to cover it over, nothing else. He just said, this is what happens. And he talked to him. He'd heard his, he told him his testimony. And he said, I truly believe he's saved. He said, I heard his testimony. And he would talk to him about how hard he had. But it still got him in the end. 53 years old. And he's telling the other ones, hey, everybody, look. Especially some of you young kids, maybe you ain't got into nothing yet. But you could be one of those who take it once, try it once, and it's on you the rest of your life. You can't shake it. This is right here is where he wound up at. He said, now I believe he is saved. I believe he woke up with heaven. And that's just the way I believe. But he said, if he hadn't been saved, he woke up in hell. He said, that's something you folks need to think about if you're not saved. And I respect him for it. And then at the end, after he done all his services, the boys, which my sister-in-law, his sister stood up and spoke. And, asked about an altar call. Asked me, you want to come down here right now? We're open to it. We're here. We will pray for you right here in front of this casket. Because like the preachers talked about, a lot of people don't think you should do an altar call at a funeral. But just a couple of months ago, that preacher hadn't done an altar call there at that young boy's funeral. 9 lives wouldn't have been changed that night. They wouldn't had the courage, the nerve, or whatever that hit them to come forward. Maybe they never would have come back to it. But they did. And I'm thankful for that. I believe wherever you're at, it hit right here in the middle of this basement. If you was sitting here with me and walked through that door, well, you put right here in the middle of this basement, I wasn't here. Up on the side of a ridge. I've heard of people, like me, my mom's bedside. Another young man I know, his was right up. He'll tell you he's got a T-shirt that says, "I found Jesus in a tater patch." That's where he's at. One up on the ridge, he was a plowing. A friend of mine, he was laid out. He was into some stuff. And he thought he was dying. He told the Lord, he said, if you'll just let me live, I'll follow you. I'll do what I'm supposed to do. And he's called to preach. So wherever you at, whatever's going, you never know where you're going to be hit with that. But hopefully, when the good Lord hollers at you, you'll answer that call. And, you know, it had a good day. It's day at church. Had a really good deal. Enjoyed it. And yesterday they had it's called a catered dinner at church. And I was sort of wondering why they's catering it. But there I walked in. One side of the room, they had big old bow and stuff. It had 65. The other side had a bunch of balloons and bow and stuff. It said 50. And what it was is two couples of the church. One of them had been married 65 years, and one of them was married 50 years. Now, don't tell me that ain't some time. It's like I told them today at church, you know, I usually always say, I've had a good week. I'm thankful for answered prayers and everything I could be blessed for. But like I told them, yesterday you walking in and looking at that and seeing them two couples, that's a testimony to me. Big portion of the time, a lot of marriages, if you hear, you know, last 50 or like their 65 years, most of them will tell you the good Lord's in the middle of it. Rarely ever is not the God not involved in it. Ain't the one they talk to. Because you guarantee you've got that many years in, you've went through some major troubles and trials and tribulations. And you got to have faith stronger than just you two together to make it happen, folks. And I believe that with everything deep inside of me. I haven't been blessed to have that type of relationship, marriage and stuff, but Lord of mercy, if I do not respect people who's got long. There's another one that had I think they've been married 33 years. And I mean, it's just awesome to hear people talk about it. I respect that more than anything you'll ever know. I've never had that, and I'm too long in the tooth now to worry about having one anywhere near like that. But that's just part of it, folks. Anyway, I don't even know what I'll title this thing. Guess some ways I'm rambling, some ways I'm just talking, or maybe like one of the guys said today at Open Church, he said, I think each person have something to do this week for the good Lord. Well, maybe this is mine for the good Lord. Maybe it's my way of getting a message out and saying, hey, you know, death comes to us all, folks. Someday, that old body that you inhabit right now, your spirit is inhabiting, will be laid in a coffin probably somewhere. And people will be looking down. What kind of testimony did you leave behind? Did you preach your funeral as you left behind? Did you try to be a good Christian? Try to turn the other cheek? Try to give people a hand up? You know, did you walk away that your children, your grandchildren, great-grandchildren can watch? Your friends and family, can they depend on you to pray for them? To be there for them? Just like the good Lord's there for you every day? What about you folks married? You know, or are you just fighting every time, whatever, but do you just go to church? Maybe you can't, maybe you need to go to separate, maybe you need, one of you just go in church, one ain't. Pray the one that ain't. Maybe you both have gotten so bullheaded, you got to look around and, well, I'm going here, I'm going there. Go where the Lord leads you. But when you come back together, join together and talk to the Lord. The good Lord can patch up and fix things a whole lot more than us earthly men can, or women. And that's just as simple as it is, folks. So, in all things, look for Him. Because at the end of time, that's where we got to be anyway. Anyway, folks, I hope that you have an excellent week. I hope you take time to read your Bible and pray. And if you can't read it, maybe you'll listen to YouTube, somebody, a preacher on there preaching a service, or maybe find a app, somebody can help you find an app that read the Bible to you. It don't matter. Or if you can't even do all that, find you, there's a passage in the Bible that talks about a darkened closet. Well, turn the lights off in your bedroom and just sit there in the stillness of the night. Radio off, everything turned off, lights off. Just talk to God. Sometimes, this tells you be still and know I am God. Well, sometimes being still also means just sitting and talking. You talk in your mind, you can talk through your heart, you can talk through your physically talk. Just talk to Him. Ask Him to be there, because I never know a time my Lord ain't been there, folks. But I hope you take time for that. I hope you take time to think on the message, what there is, where you headed to, what you leaving behind, and especially if you're blessed to be married, folks. Take time to listen to one another. Take time to pray to the good Lord. And do it together if you can. And that's just simple as this. Because He's always going to be there. And a lot of your problems and tribulations you're having, a lot of times you get done talking to the Lord, you realize they ain't that large, they ain't that big. People, you hear them all the time, oh, I'm worried I'll lose this and I'll lose that. Well, let me tell you what, all this stuff down here is temporary, folks. But in here, that salvation, that's forever. Find that salvation. That way, if they take all this worldly stuff away, guess what? Your treasures are up in heaven. You know where you're going. That's simple as it gets, folks. And if you have faith, God will always be with you. Even in your darkest times, when you don't think you're going to make it, it will happen. God will make it happen. God's going to provide for you. I mean, if He looks out of the fowls in the air, sparrows in the air, whatever, whichever birds you want to talk about, it doesn't matter. If He provides for them, they don't worry about, putting away stuff for winter. God always provides, as simple as it is. You just got to have that faith, folks. A little faith of a mustard seed. Anyway, I've talked long enough. If you watch this, thank you for watching. If you don't watch it, well, thank you for not watching. Because you ain't going to hear it. Because you ain't watching. Anyway, hope you have an excellent week. Hope the good Lord takes a liking to you, but not too soon. And as always, I'll see you.